Bengals fans, what a night. It finally feels good to breathe again in Cincinnati. After weeks of frustration, close calls, and endless questions, the Bengals walked into Thanksgiving under the bright lights of Thursday night football, and walked out leaving the Baltimore Ravens stunned, 32-4. Yes, 32-4. On a holiday night. In a game the entire league was watching. And Cincinnati made it look like a statement. If you felt that spark again, that old Bengals fire, trust me, you weren't alone. This team didn't just win, they looked alive. But before we dive deeper into this Victory Friday breakdown, before listening to the latest news, subscribe to the channel, like it, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Let's move on to the new news. Now, let's talk about the overreactions, because after a night like that, you know they're coming. Overreaction number 1. The Bengals defense is fixed. Listen, it's tempting. 5 turnovers in one night? 4 forced fumbles? An interception? That's the kind of chaos Cincinnati hasn't created in a long time. And for stretches of this game, the defense looked hungry, fast, confident, everything fans have been begging to see all year. But let's slow down just a little. Yes, they've stacked a couple solid performances lately, against New England, against Pittsburgh, but most of the season, this defense has been inconsistent. Last night was incredible, but calling it fixed might be a little early. Encouraging? Absolutely. Resurgent? Potentially. Fixed forever? We'll see. Overreaction number 2. Zac Taylor's play calling is still a problem. Honestly, this one might not be an overreaction at all. After forcing an early turnover, the Bengals had the ball sitting at their own 2-yard line, and then, for reasons only the football gods understand, Cincinnati dialed up pass after pass in the shadow of their own end zone. With Chase Brown running like a man on fire, the Bengals still decided to air it out in a spot where every fan was screaming the same thing: run the ball. Burrow's back, yes. But sometimes the obvious answer is the right one. More on Chase Brown later, because that guy deserves a spotlight. Joe Burrow letting it rip 46 times. That alone tells you everything about how aggressive Cincinnati wanted to be. But it also created one of the strangest contradictions from last night. The Bengals moved the ball with confidence, yet completely stalled in the red zone. 1 touchdown on 6 trips. 1. That's the kind of thing that turns a comfortable win into unnecessary stress. For a team built around a franchise quarterback, you can't walk away from that many scoring opportunities with only field goals. Evan McPherson bailed Cincinnati out more times than anyone would like to admit, and while the win was convincing, it leaned heavily on the defense and the kicker. And that brings us right back to Zac Taylor's play calling. The creativity was inconsistent, the pace lacked urgency at times, and even late in the game, Cincinnati burned timeouts simply because the play wasn't coming in fast enough. It's a problem that has shown up far too often, especially in big games, and it continues to cap how explosive this offense can truly be. Now let's move to overreaction number 3. The Bengals are officially back. As fun as it is to say, that's probably reaching. Yes, the win felt like a breath of fresh air. Yes, the Bengals showed flashes of the team everyone believes they can be. But the AFC North isn't exactly giving out free space on the bingo card. Cincinnati is still 2 games behind, and the road ahead is anything but soft. They're heading into Buffalo next, a matchup that will demand the best version of this team. Then comes another meeting with the Ravens, who will undoubtedly show a very different look than what they gave on Thanksgiving. The race is far from over, but nothing about this schedule screams easy comeback. Still, the Bengals are in the mix, and that alone is enough to keep the pressure on the rest of the division. But calling this team back after one big win? Not yet. Not until they stack performances, prove consistency, and show they can take advantage of the chances right in front of them. All right, let's get back into the football, because there's still plenty to react to after a win like this. Instead of shifting the conversation to anything outside the field, let's stay locked in on what actually matters: the Cincinnati Bengals and the momentum they're trying to build. This team has been looking for a spark all season long, and Thursday night finally gave fans something real to hold on to. So with that said, let's jump into the next set of overreactions, because after a performance like that, there's no shortage of takes flying around. Overreaction number 4. Jalen Davis needs to be signed to the 53-man roster. Honestly, this might not be an overreaction at all. For 2 straight weeks, Jalen Davis has stepped onto the field after being elevated from the practice squad and looked like he belongs. Yes, he got beat once. That happens to every defensive back in the NFL. But the bigger story is the confidence and physicality he's bringing to this secondary. His forced fumble on Thanksgiving wasn't luck. It was awareness, timing, and effort, the kind of play this defense has been missing for stretches this season. And with Cam Taylor dealing with a rough year and the possibility that he may not return soon, Cincinnati has every reason to seriously consider making Davis a permanent part of the active roster. He's playing like a guy who refuses to let this opportunity slip. Sometimes, you don't ignore momentum, you reward it. Final overreaction. Chase Brown is shining again. This one is absolutely not an overreaction. Chase Brown brought juice to the offense. His explosiveness, patience, and ability to turn simple plays into chunk gains is exactly what this team has been starving for. And it wasn't just him, the offensive line deserves credit too. For the second straight week, the protection held strong. Joe Burrow went down only once, and the lanes were there in the run game. It's been one of the biggest questions all season: can the O-line stack performances? On Thursday night, they did exactly that. Brown looked electric, the line looked steady, and the Bengals finally looked like a team capable of controlling the tempo. Chase Brown delivered another complete performance, crossing the 100-yard mark for the second straight week. 78 yards rushing at 5 yards a pop, 30-plus receiving. The guy is turning into a spark plug that defenses can't ignore. Every time he touches the ball, something feels possible, and that's exactly the element this offense needed. And let's be honest, this win just felt good. No frustration. No long faces. No dragging into Friday wondering what went wrong. Cincinnati walked off that field with a 32-4 statement, and it finally felt like the team had taken a step in the right direction. Yes, the playoff picture is still tight. Yes, nothing is guaranteed. But being only 2 games back in the AFC North keeps Cincinnati right in the fight. And with the Steelers heading into a tough matchup against Buffalo, the Bengals have opened a door that many people thought was closed weeks ago. A dominant defensive showing, clutch kicking from Evan McPherson, and an offense that flashed legitimate energy. That's the formula that brought the Bengals back into the conversation. Thursday night football didn't just give Cincinnati a win. It gave them hope.